Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and the legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your burdened favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning, honorable members.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to this morning's sitting. I request the clerk to start us off.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
May I invite Honorable Philip Ndolo to come forward and lay down the papers. Philip Ndolo. Can we have a member of that committee taking us that is the PAC, Public Accounts and Investment Committee? Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Ruth Wanjiro, standing in for the Chair, Public Accounts. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following papers on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, 8th July 2025. Number 1, the report of the Public Accounts and Investments Committee on consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of County Assembly of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2022. Report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of County Executive Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2023. The third report is the report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of County Executive Revenue Fund for the year ended 30th June 2023. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
May I invite again Honorable Ruth Wanjiro to come and take us through 3 notices of motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, I'm standing in for Philip Ndolo, the chairperson of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 185, this House adopts the report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of County Assembly of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2022, laid on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 8th July 2025. Another one. The next one, Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 185, this House adopts the report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of the County Executive Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2023, laid on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 8th July 2025. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 185, this House adopts the report of Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of County Executive Revenue Fund for the year ended 30th June 2023, laid on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 8th July 2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ruth. Good job. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
May I invite Honorable Nicholas Nzioka, Majority Leader, to come forward and take us through that statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met today, Tuesday, 8th July 2025, to prioritize business for the House as forwarded by committees and honorable members pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order number 151, Sub-Order 6D. The committee balloted business as follows. Tuesday morning, 8th July 2025 at 10 a.m. Number 1, statement on status of conflict resolution on alleged transfer of ownership of lands records for Konza area from Machakos to Makueni County by the Honorable Phoebe Koki. Number 2, response to a statement on status of dams done by the Department of Water and Irrigation the financial year 2023-2024 by the Honorable Daniel Mwindi. 3, response to a statement on what the county government is doing to deploy cleaners in Igithunguri and Katani markets that have a huge potential with no single staff despite their revenue potential by the Honorable Brian Kisila. And D, approval of report on inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos by the Honorable Phoebe Koki. Tuesday afternoon, 8th July 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Number 1, statement on single business permit increment by the county executive without the approval of the county assembly by the Honorable Douglas Musyoka. Number 2, response to a statement on implementation status of emergency locust response program conditional grants by the Honorable Charles Mbova. Number 3, response to a statement sought by Honorable Maitha on status of Kinka Airways, response to a statement sought by the Honorable Maitha on the status of Kinka Airways, Zebra and Mungano Police Station Road by the Honorable Mwoki Musila. Number 4, the Machakos County Gender Equity and Community Empowerment Program, the Machakos County Gender Equity and Community Empowerment Bill 2025, that is first reading by the Honorable Benjamin Kinyungu. Number 5, approval of report of Public Account and Investment Committee on the consideration of the report of the Auditor General on financial statements of the County Assembly of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2022 by the Honorable Philip Ndolo. Number 6, approval of report of Public Account and Investment Committee on the consideration of report of the Auditor General on financial statements of the County Executive Receiver of Revenue for the year ended 30th June 2023 by the Honorable Philip Ndolo. And number 7, motion of alteration of the calendar and adjournment of the House by the Honorable Nicholas Nzioka. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majority Leader. At this point, may I also invite Honorable Phoebe Koki to come and respond, make a statement. Honorable Phoebe Koki. Honorable Penina is holding brief.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't know what is funny with it. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Penina.
Members are excited.
Nominated by People's Trust Party and studying for Chair Devolution, Honorable Phoebe Koki. Honorable Speaker, this is a response to a statement on status of conflict resolution on alleged transfer of ownership of land records for Konza area from Machakos to Makueni County. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 6.1 and the first schedule of the Constitution defines Kenyan's counties, including their jurisdiction. Further aware that Article 67.2a establishes the National Land Commission NLC assigned the function of managing public land on behalf of counties and national government, and that any record transfer must follow due process and should inform the NLC. Informed that Article 189(1) and B provides that the national and county governments should cooperate but operate within their assigned roles, and that county assemblies under Article 185(1) and 2 of the Constitution have the power to legislate on land matters within their jurisdiction. Constant that in December 2024, a dispute arose between Machakos and Makueni counties regarding the jurisdiction of the Konza area. Following directive from the Minister of Lands to transfer land records from the Machakos registry to the Water registry in Makueni County by December 30, 2024. Considering that Machakos County officials, including the County Secretary, Machakos County, strongly opposed the directive and dismissed the ministry internal memo asserting that Konza remains part of Machakos County, aware that the County Secretary demanded an immediate halt of the transfer process and called for a consultative meeting involving all stakeholders to resolve the Machakos amicably. Acknowledging that the move to transfer land records to Makueni County would disadvantage Machakos residents, forcing them to seek services from Makueni County approximately 30 kilometers away, despite Machakos being more accessible. Informed that Section 5.1 and 19 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012 requires counties to consult and cooperate when addressing issues affecting more than one county. Aware that the Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, as established under Standing Order 189, is mandated to deal with matters regarding promotion of intergovernmental relations, and that this matter was discussed by the committee and resolved. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations and pursuant to Standing Order 41(2)(c)(1), I wish to seek a statement from the Chairperson Lands and Energy Committee on the following matters. Roman 1, the grounds that necessitated the Minister of Lands to resolve to transfer the said land records to Makueni County without consultation of the county government of Machakos. Roman 2, the action plan the Department of Lands has taken to reverse the intended move and the status of the consultations between the relevant stakeholders as advised by the County Secretary. Roman 3, the current status of the transfer process if it was implemented or not. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Penina. Honorable members, that statement by Honorable Penina is hereby committed to the Committee on Lands and Energy, and the report to be presented to this House on or before 22nd July 2025. Thank you, members. Next order. Sorry, there is another response on the statements, and this one is being presented by Honorable Daniel Muindi. May I invite on stage Honorable Daniel Muindi to respond to a statement that had been requested by Honorable Judas Ndawa. I'm guided that the chair of this committee, together with the member who had requested for the statement, are both not present. And at this point, I want to refer this response back to the House Business Committee for balloting. Thank you. There is still another response. This response is by Honorable Brian Kisila. Honorable Brian Kisila. Honorable Brian Kisila also not present. The same had been requested. Clerk? Who had requested for the? Honorable Maida had requested for the statement. Honorable Maida is present, but Honorable Brian Kisila is not present. And I think it's just prudent that you have it referred back to the House Business Committee for balloting. We are done with the statements. Next order.
Order number 8. Motion. Approval of report on inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos.
May I invite Honorable Penina, I believe so, to come forward and take us through the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, I'm Penina Kisangai, nominated by People's Trust Party and standing in for Chair and Devolution and the Government and the Intergovernmental Relations, Honorable Pip Koki. Motion on approval of report on inquiry of the status of water, of ownership of water. Let me repeat again. Approval of report on inquiry on the status of transfer of water, of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that pursuant to Standing Order 189, this House adopts the report of the Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos laid on the table of the Assembly on 20th November 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You may call a seconder.
May I call Honorable Frederick Kiteto to second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Frederick Kiteto is my name, MCA Kombe Ward, I raise to second the report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kitetu. I now propose the question that, pursuant to Standing Order 189, this House adopts the report of Devolution and Intergovernmental Committee on inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos, laid on the table of the Assembly on 20th November 2024. Before I invite members to debate on this matter, I would request the mover to come and highlight on the report. Okay. Member.
Thank you. I stand on a point of standing order number 27 to request for extension of time. Honorable Speaker, that aware that standing order number 27, sub-order 2 provides that the Speaker shall interrupt business at 12:30 p.m. for the morning sitting. Aware that standing order number 27, sub-order 3 provides that the House may resolve to extend its sitting time. Honorable Speaker, aware that standing order number 27, sub-order 4 also requires a motion to extend sitting time to be moved at least 30 minutes before the time appointed for adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that the House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is finalized. I wish to call the Honorable Mheshimiwa Ngunga to second my motion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I raise to second the motion. It's prudent that we extend time. We finish up with the morning business. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I now propose the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. I now put the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. As many are of the opinion say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Penina, you can proceed. I'm very impressed the way you are doing it. It's really good. Proceed. Thank you.
Nominated by People's Trust Party and standing in once again for and standing once again for Honorable Pip Koki, and it's a report of inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos. Allow me, Madam Speaker, to go to executive summary.
Proceed, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker, this inquiry report on status of transfer of the county water company assets and documents was informed by the requirements of the provision of Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 that stipulates that ownership of the assets of the water service providers shall rest with the respective water service provider that will hold will audit in trust of the public, its citizens. The report was also informed by a committee agenda held on 22nd June 2024, where it was confirmed that ownership of water assets and documents for water service providers in Machakos County were never surrendered to the county government of Machakos since the onset of devolution over 10 years ago. Honorable Speaker, following this information, the committee prepared terms of reference and resolved to do an inquiry report on this matter through inviting the respective department to provide information related to this subject matter. The committee invited the Chief Officer and Department of Water, Managing Director, Machakos Water Company, and the CEO, Tana Earthy Water Works Agency. The committee analyzed the submissions from the above persons and observed that all the stated assets and the corresponding ownership documents are currently under the custody of Tana Water Works Agency. Further, these assets are reflected in the books of account of the account water service providers, and this has made it difficult for the companies to have a true reflection of the financial position due to valuation challenges. The failure has continuously raised audit queries by the Office of the Auditor General, as submitted by the Managing Director of Machakos Water Company Limited. It was also noted that his failure to transfer the assets in denying the county government of Machakos opportunities that go with possession of these assets, such as securing honor, funding, and job opportunities. The committee recommended that the Department of Water should undertake a serious engagement with the CEO Tana Water Work Agency and any other agency that is in custody of water company assets contrary to Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 to release those assets and related ownership documents to the county government of Machakos, among other recommendations. Madam Speaker, allow me again to go to submission of information of status of devolution of water company assets and related documents.
Proceed.
Submission by the Chief Officer, Department of Water. Honorable Speaker, the Chief Officer and the receipt of the letter submitted to the committee as follows. Roman 1, the Department of Water has undertaken an asset audit of all the infrastructure and the facilities held by Tana Water Works Development Agency within the county. That the assets reflected in the books of account of the county water service providers suggests that the companies hold the initial cost of development of these assets to the Tana Water Works Agency, and this has made it impossible to have a true reflection of the financial performance of these companies because of valuation challenges. That the key assets that relate to Machakos water companies include dams, treatment plants, water kiosks, boreholes, and office spaces, and that ownership of these assets are implied in title deeds. That the following assets are not reflected in the assets register of Machakos Water Company and have not been devolved to the county government of Machakos. Water sources. Maluba Dam, next to Machakos People's Park. 2, office borehole in the county water offices. 3, Guli borehole in Kathome. Mafoko borehole in Kidini. Plant 3 number in Kithini Stream Mukalana. Kimutwa borehole in Kimutwa River next to the bridge. Mwani borehole in Mwani next to the Deputy Governor's office. B, water treatment plant. Fatco treatment works in the downstream of Maluba Dam. Composite in the downstream of Maluba Dam. Horizontal treatment works in the downstream of Maluba Dam. Sewage treatment plants. Metheu sewer treatment plant along Metheu River next to Governor's office. 2, sewage pump station in Grokon. Water reservoir tanks. Katoloni found in Katoloni next to Machakos water office. Kimakimwe in Kimakimwe area. Ipeti tank in Makala. Makalala. Elevated steel tank next to police headquarters. Kimutwa masonry tank in Kimutwa Secondary School. Further, the chief officer stated that an MOU has since been developed for signing between the CCM for the water and the CEO of Tana Health and on transfer of the said assets in line with the Water Act 2016. However, he added that negotiations are still underway on a few unresolved issues. Submission by the Managing Director, Machakos Water Company. Honorable Speaker, the committee filed a letter reference Machakos dated 16th August 2024, wrote to the Managing Director, Machakos Water and Sewage Company, requesting the information in relation the stated water company assets and documents as indicated under Section 83 of the Water Act 2016. The Managing Director submitted as follows. 1. The water-related assets, infrastructure, and associated documents were to be transferred from the national government through Tanath Water Works Development Agency to the county government to facilitate effective water service delivery, after which the county government were to assign the assets to the respective water service providers. As such as Machakos Water Company is yet to receive the list of the specific assets and the document meant to the transfer from Tana Water Works Agency. That the company engaged the CEO, Tanathi Water, works together with the CCM Water, Environment and Climate Change Department to establish the status of transfer of the said assets, and they submitted that the process of transfer is still ongoing. That the delayed transfer of the said assets and the documents has resorted to challenges such as lack of ownership and control, since the company lacks formal ownership over key infrastructure, resulting in interruptions in service delivery and delays in addressing operational inefficiencies. 2. Funding contracts, since the company does not have full ownership of assets, hence unable to secure internal funding for infrastructure development. This state of affairs has severely impacted on the area of the investments on water and infrastructure projects, as well as securing for operational support when there are cash flow challenges. Submission from the CEO, Tanathi Water Works Agency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 192/95S, the committee filed a letter referring to Machakos dated 15th July 2024, and the letter referring to Machakos wrote to the Chief Executive Officer, Tanathi Waterworks Agency, seeking information on the status of transfer of the said assets to the government of Machakos. The CEO via an email dated 26th August 2024 responded to the Assembly as follows. that the agency is in the process of preparing and pursuing for transfer documents, i.e. title deeds for all water infrastructure, including for other companies such as Mafoko and the other water companies. Committee observations after the inquiry process. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the Section 18(1) of the County Assembly Powers and Privilege Act 2017, the committee invited and received information from the respective entities as per the committee terms of reference. After analyzing the submission, the committee observed as follows: that over 10 years after the onset of the devolution, devolved government, the national government through its respective water agencies and more specifically Tanahathi Water Works Agency has never implemented the provision of Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 that require all water company assets and ownership document be devolved to the respective county water service. Water service providers. These assets include water source, stock dams, reservoirs, stock tanks, water treatment and sewage treatment plants, specific details on that all the above stated assets and the corresponding ownership documents are currently under the custody of Tanahathi Water Works Agency, and very little have been done by the entire entity to dissolve these assets to the county government of Machakos as required by Section 83 of the Water Act 2016. That, as submitted by the Chief Officer, Department of Water, these assets are reflected in the books of accounts of the county water service providers suggest, but the water companies hold the initial cost of the development of these assets to Tanahathi Water Works Agency, and this has made it difficult for the companies to have a true reflection of the financial position due to valuation challenges. The inability of the water companies to determine the value of these water assets because of lack of ownership documents has continuously raised audit queries by the Office of the Auditor General as submitted by the Managing Director of Machakos Water Company Limited. The committee, after analyzing the submissions from the CEO Tanahathi, it was noted that the national government is very reluctant to release these essential water assets to the county government, hence denying the county government of Machakos opportunities that go with possessions of the assets, such as securing donor, finding and job opportunities. That the county government of Machakos, through the Department of Water, has done very little to engage the respective national government entities to pursue for its water company assets and documents, despite having an applicable law in force, say the provision of the Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 and Part 2 of the 4th Schedule of the Constitution that assigns water and sanitation services function to the county government.
You can go to committee recommendations.
Yes, I go to committee
and you end it
recommendations.
at that.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, after consideration of the submissions presented before the committee and the observations outlined above, The committee makes the following recommendations. 1. Pursuant to the provision of Article 189 of the Constitution that emphasizes on cooperation between the national and the county governments, the Department of Water should undertake a serious engagement with the CEO, Tanathi Water Works Agency, and any other agency that is in custody of water company assets contrary to the Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 to release these assets and related ownership documents to the county government of Machakos. Further to the above recommendations, the Department of Water should also engage the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, which is established under Section 11 of the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012 to develop a formal plan with timelines on the how to dissolve water company assets and related ownership documents to Machakos County Government as provided under Section 83 of the Water Act 2016 and the Part 2 of the fourth schedule of the Constitution. The county government of Machakos, through the Department of Water, should conduct a comprehensive audit of all water company assets with the aim of determining its current state and security to avoid loss to unsuspected individuals. The Department of Water should forward to this assembly the report of the Water Facilities Committee that the appointed by Her Excellency the Governor last year, and which was assigned to inquire on the status of these water companies and related challenges, so that respective committees of this assembly can address the matters therein. Pursuant to Standing Order 181, the Department of Water should, after 60 days after approval of the report, submit to this assembly the status of implementation of these recommendations for the purpose of oversight.
Let's end it there. The rest is just acknowledgement, isn't it?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Honorable Penina, for that good work you have done.
Just for your guidance,
yes.
I think the honorable member has just presented or read the report, but she has not formally
concluded.
Put it to the floor of the House, because if you look at the conclusion and
I think I'm the one who cut
number 19 is at that point, I think, where she or she formally provides. So I think you may want to give her that opportunity, please.
Exactly. I am the one who actually cut her short. Honorable Penina, come and conclude your report, please. Then you can submit it officially. Go through the conclusion and the acknowledgement.
Go to number 19.
Yeah, please proceed.
It is therefore my privilege to table before this Honorable House the report of Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations Committee on inquiry on the status of transfer of ownership of water company assets to the county government of Machakos. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. At this point, may I invite members to debate the motion. The floor is yours, members. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I first want to bring to your attention that you have really recommended the way Penina is approaching the chair. And I have approached the chair so many times, and I have never heard you recommend me. So you may want to take us for a training course on how to approach the chair, because I keep coming to the chair and I want to learn how to approach the chair. Thank you. Anyway, I am very much, yes.
It's an invitation to treat, and I'll take it up.
Thank you.
Yes.
I want to thank the Committee of Water very much, because, devolution, sorry. But they were talking about water, that is why I think I'm caught up there. Because water is a very important resource for all of us. I happened to have worked in the executive wing of government, and I know how difficult it is for these water companies to operate under the prevailing circumstances. Because, for example, many water companies in this country or in this county are caught in between who to report to. You would think they report to is it Tana Adi, or the Department of Water, or the Ministry of Water. So there's a lot of confusion. Yet in between the confusion, there's a lot of resources either allocated by the county governments or by the national government or even by donors. So this clarity of who owns what and at what point does the water company in Machakos operate independent of the national government, or, how the interlink should be solved. Otherwise, the water companies are caught in between the national government and the county government, and they do not have a lot of leeway to operate. Just to let you know that I don't think there's any water company in our county that is afloat in terms of whether they can afford to provide the water service effectively. Most of them have been caught up into debts because, again, not of their doing, but mostly because these assets have not been transferred. I even want to bring to the attention of this house, I've heard the mover mention an non-existent facility, the Grogon Sewer Treatment Plant. It is in the report, but on the ground, that land already was allocated to informal sector in Machakos town. And I think it is because of that confusion, someone transferred or allocated land to those people because the water company could not do anything about it. I would not be happy, or I would be opposing any move to interfere with the mechanics and traders in the Grogon area, because also there are people who are earning their living. But I am also caught in between that we need to strengthen these water companies. Also to bring to the attention to this house that even some water companies, we call them public companies. They are private companies. Because if you search in the registrar of companies, one of the major water companies in this county is owned by two people. It's in the hand of private people. Okay. If the committee wants, they can call me and I'll let them know. One of the major companies that provides water in this county is owned by individuals. Yeah, sure. Individuals. So if they decided to transfer the assets, what would happen? There's nothing you can do to them. They would transfer. But thankfully, Madam Speaker, the same water company is so caught in so many debts, they will first of all to deal with the liability part of it before they deal with the asset part of it. So I think I support the report of the Revolution Committee that the water department should engage the various government agencies very quickly so that they establish their asset base. Until you establish your asset base, you will continue missing opportunities to invest. You are going to miss opportunity to attract serious donors. You are going to miss opportunity to create employment and so forth. In the meantime, let us push the Department of Water to start serious engagement with the national government so that we fully transfer the assets to the water company. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very, very much, Majority Leader, for that information. That is very important information, especially if we are dealing with private companies, and we are talking about transfer of assets from national government to the county government to devolve it. But little do we know that we are actually dealing with private companies. I think it's important information. I think it should be taken up so that we don't devolve what does not belong to the government. Honorable Maitha, then Honorable Douglas, then Honorable Maitha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Members Present for their resilience and commitment to the business of this House, and request of them that in the afternoon we have very important motion to pass that requires quorum, of which if we deny it, then it might end up interfering with our tomorrow's business. Direct to the point, Madam Speaker, I want to second the report that has been tabled by the Vice Chair on behalf of the committee. And I want to say this, Madam Speaker, a report was tabled here about 5-6 months ago on the status of the water companies in this county. And when you go through all the reports, Madam Speaker, the reports almost have the same observations, conclusions, recommendations, and everything. And Madam Speaker, it is high time that this assembly now takes serious the matter of water issues in Machakos County. One of the key promises and key deliverables that we made to the electorate of Machakos County, Madam Speaker, is to provide safe and reliable water solution. But that seems not to be achievable, Madam Speaker. These water companies are alternate service providers which are under the county government of Machakos. Though there is a water act that regulates them, but much seems not to be, coming up from these water companies, Madam Speaker. And it is not information that we just need to hear in this floor, just make recommendations and support and end it there, Madam Speaker. I am of this opinion and proposal. Madam Speaker, we need to have a round table discussion, a very serious round table discussion with all the water companies present. And I will propose we have the so-called the General Oversight Committee at a retreat somewhere, so that we can first understand about what does the Water Act say. So that in our oversight duties, all members in this assembly can understand what does the Water Act say. From there, these water companies can be taken through the general observations that have ever been tabled in this house before and even including today, and then they give us a general overview and oversight of what is really ailing them and what can be done to them. It is very unfortunate that, Madam Speaker, 10 years down the line, after devolution came, and we had the so-called transition authority that was supposed to oversee the transfer of assets and liabilities to the county government. Up to date, Madam Speaker, the report is telling that nothing has ever happened. To our surprise, Madam Speaker, on what has been alleged by the Honorable Majority Leader about a water company being held by two persons as private shareholders, Madam Speaker, that is very risky.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of order taken.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Maitha is saying an allegation. I am not making an allegation. I know this is factual.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it should be factual because it can be established.
Madam Speaker, our standing orders are very clear.
Thank you.
That is treated as an allegation unless a substantive information is brought to this house for admissibility purposes. So, Honorable Majority, but I treat that in good faith, because that is information that we didn't know. It is not in bad faith at all. So, Madam Speaker, that leaves us in a very awkward position, because we don't even know. Maybe he has private information because he has maybe is closer, maybe, or he has maybe worked closely with that water company. How many other water companies have similar information that this house does not know? So, Madam Speaker, I request of your guidance. We need to have a serious engagement with these water companies, all of them, because the reports which were tabled here before almost were at cross-cutting issues, similar, so that we can interrogate them. they can tell us where the problems are, so that by the time we leave where we will be to come and discuss and give way forward about these water companies, we have a clear-cut understanding on what is ailing these water companies, Madam Speaker. So in as much as I support this report, I request of your indulgence and guidance, that, Madam Speaker, that we need to sit down with these water companies, listen to them, hear from them, understand what does the Water Act say, because we might be persecuting them, but there is a section in the Water Act that does not maybe give them express powers to do the things that we want them to do. So it is my prayer that, because this is our oversight our oversight responsibility as per the Constitution, and we promise to provide water to the residents of Machakos. Before it is too late, Madam Speaker, I think through your intelligence invitation, these water companies can be directed to attend a general oversight committee with all the members present. They take us through slowly by slowly, so that by the time we leave there, we'll have had a clear understanding of exactly what it is all about, these water companies. And I think, Madam Speaker, that will help, and it can even be able to unveil the issues that these water companies are going through. Through my submissions, I support and request of it that, Madam Speaker, we treat that with a request with a lot of seriousness, because I'm sure from there, many of us here will be able to understand what exactly happens in those water companies. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I'll be giving guidance at the end of this discussion concerning that. Honorable Douglas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to support the report tabled by the able chairperson, Honorable Penina. We come from the same place. And I will also applaud her for the confidence that she portrayed this morning. I have not seen her before express such kind of confidence, so I applaud her for a job well done. Madam Speaker.
There's always a day when you start this.
Yes.
Point of information taken.
I wish to inform the honorable member that it is not the first time, actually, for Honorable Penina to present a report. In fact, yes, today she was dull. The first report she presented in this assembly, she was very vibrant. So it is not the first time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Well guided, Honorable Douglas.
Well informed, Madam Speaker. But I did not say it was the first time Honorable Penina was making a presentation before the floor of this House. I just applauded the kind of confidence and applauded how she did the report.
That's a positive thing.
Yes, it was a positive remark. It was not a way of criticizing the honorable member. Madam Speaker, I happen to have served as a director at Tanadi Water Service Board between the year 2013 to 2019. And during my tenure, we have been with these water companies all through, supporting them with both my infrastructure, development programs, even sometimes going up to an extent of assisting these water companies in clearing some of their bills. I don't know where the reluctance has been, but according to me, I will maybe state it clear that it is now upon the Department of Water under the county government of Machakos to take up this issue seriously, engage these water companies, even if they are in a mess, even if a majority of them are in so many cases, so that our people may get service. Madam Speaker, just the other day in my ward, I met one of the staffs belonging to Mwala Water Company. The same company, water companies which we are talking about. And then this old man was requesting me if I can indulge or whether I can assist them get paid. Because being a staff and a service provider, in our community, then you take your staff for more than 12 months without salary, without pay, without anything. How do we expect these people to work for our people? It is of a great importance that the Department of Water engages these water companies and takes up the responsibility to manage water within our county. Madam Speaker, secondly, I would wish also to state that there has been no any challenge with the Tanadhiu Water Service Board, because they have been always willing. All the assets which have been owned by these companies, still under Tanadhi, if our departments make effort, I think the issues which we are going through will be sorted once and for all. Then the other thing which I wish to state is that the Department of Water, in fact, I may not state clearly what they does, because according to me, they would have absorbed this staff in these water companies. They would have taken over the management and running of these very important institutions. But instead of doing that, Madam Speaker, I sit in the PAC committee, Public Accounts Committee. And the other day we were interrogating some reports, these water companies. And to my surprise, you'll find that the county government of Machakos owes these companies millions and millions of unpaid water debts, including including our hospitals. I'm giving an example of Kadhiane Water Company, whereby the company owes the county government of Machakos, Department of Health, over 16 million shillings in water debt. And the same company has electricity arrears, bill arrears of more than 4 million. And instead of the county government coming in hand to support the water company, the management of the companies are being issued with threats that if you disconnect that water, we are coming for you in person. So it is the highest time as a government, we adopt this, as an assembly, we adopt this report, and we take the county government of Machakos, that is the Department of Water, into account to fast track the adoption of these water companies for the smooth running and service to our people. I support the report, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A very important point there concerning unpaid bills. And I think we need to interrogate that as we go on. Honorable Mike, and then Honorable Ngunga.
Very much, Madam Speaker. For those who might have forgotten my name, I'm Boniface Maeke, representing the good, wonderful people of Kalama. Yes, and as you know, Kalama is among the sub-counties, which is usually peaceful. We never had chaos yesterday. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate the team that has sat down and come up with this good and informative report. Water is life. That has been a key statement since primary school. But when I look into what we are doing about water, there is very little which is being done into relation with management of water. Water Act of 2016 stipulated very well that water would be decentralized, or water services would be devolved and come down to the counties. However, when we come to the water companies, Madam Speaker, you find that there's a lot of misunderstanding, because originally what was happening, some of these water companies were being funded, and especially the big projects are being funded direct from the national government. For example, we have the sewer that is in Kalama of over 900 million, but it is being funded through a bank through Tanahadi. But now Tanahadi is not in the jurisdiction of Machakos County, but they have come to build. We've had these people also come to our county and build other facilities, including bores and many other things. What we need to do, Madam Speaker, as members have said, the Machakos County Water Department should come up with a very good and well elaborate water policy. Free water is very expensive. We cannot give free water even with the balls, even with anything without maintenance. And I believe, Madam Speaker, one of the biggest challenges with us who are doing a lot of projects, and especially projects to do with roads, projects to do with water, we lack the maintenance part. And if we lack the ME, that is the maintenance expenses, the projects will definitely fail, and will definitely no amount of money we can allocate to that department to repair balls will be enough. What we need is to come up with the policies that will allow these water companies to sell water. Initially, these water companies thrived because they sold water. Nairobi Water is thriving because it is selling water. We know we've had issues with Mawasco, with Machakos Water, because of what Mheshimiwa has explained. But there is need for a very proper plan. I once visited on invite the water committee because I was interested to see, and during the interrogation of the budget, Madam Speaker, we don't even have a single shilling allocated to these water companies. We cannot have running water companies. We want Mawasco to undo our sewer systems, but we don't have enough money to even give them to run the sewers. So there is a need for a policy check in the water department, and as Mheshimiwa Maitha said, there is a need for sitting in a round table, looking at the Water Act very well, and absorbing these water companies so that we don't just wait for them to deliver, but there is very little input. I've seen in the report them speaking about a borehole. This borehole was done many years ago, over 20 years ago. And when the county government came, the government also did another borehole next to that borehole. The borehole is as almost 8.3 cubic to 10 cubic of water, but it is not being utilized. Why? It is not lying in the county, it is not lying in the CDF, it's not lying anywhere, and it is not helping the people of Kimutwa. It's lying there. The reason it was disconnected was because of power. But when the other county government came, they said this was being operated by the Machakos Water, and they never took over. So you find there is a ball, the county cannot fund because it is under Machakos Water, and Machakos Water has no capacity to pay the water bill. So they disconnected our water, and the people are suffering. So the county did another ball by the side, which has less amount of water compared to the original. So there is a need of synchronizing, transferring this. And the other thing is, in the Water Act, they have a provision to do regulations. And even on now, the managers are being enrolled. All those are regulations that need to be done. And my proposal would be, yes, the water committee was established. It has 7 members, but there is a need for proper look. And I challenge the water committee to work more hard. I'm speaking this way because I'm into water. I'm a water specialist, and I usually have a lot of interest. And I can make this prayer. If a chance is given, I can love to serve in that committee. I've seen majority smile. Yes. Thank you very much. And I support the report. And I say congratulations, because everybody is congratulating Mheshimiwa. It is because she's usually quiet and cool. So she has done a lot, and that's why we are happy. And the house is happy, and everybody is happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Ngunga, then Honorable Kitetu.
So thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to say something about this very important report. As earlier said, I also want to thank the Honorable Penina for having brought this report before us in a very good way. Say that our party today has been represented, the People's Trust Party. For the first time I have heard that name. It's a party that I hold very dear. I'm a founder member of that party. So Penina, congrats.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I want to say that I've actually read this report, and I think we need to be serious about it. In the recommendations I've seen, actually there are 4 recommendations. The committee came up with 4 recommendations. And recommendation number 5 says it all, that after 60 days, they say after 60 days of this report's approval, this assembly is furnished. The status of the implementation of the above recommendations be furnished to this assembly. Madam Speaker, I'm waiting to see that. It's going to be very important for us to be furnished with the status of implementation of this. One of the things, Madam Speaker, I want to say is that there has been a lot of policies, acts, bills, I don't know what they are, but the most important bit of it is that our people need water. Basically, whether acts, policies, companies, Tanadi, I don't know, all those kind of things that they're talking about, we need water, and that water is needed, very important. I want to give a case in point here, Madam Speaker. I have a project that is very major in Mua Ward, that is Miwongoni project. And that project had very many components. And one of the components was about 6 bores that were done by the Tanadi Water Service, Tanadi. Those bores were done in completion, and this was, today is 2026. It was done 2020 last year and handed over to the county government. I want to say, Madam Speaker, those bores, there are 6 of them spread across the ward, and they have not been operationalized because of technicalities between the MACHAKOS Water Company and the Department of Water. When I go to the CEO of water company, he tells me that whether they have, I don't know, whether it is operational capacity that they don't have. When I go to the minister, you know, that can up and down. And water is there. Actually, I have donated, one of the bores was dug in my own piece of land. I donated to the county. Interestingly, therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to say that it looks like there are operational challenges between the water company, the department, and these other agencies. The earlier the better the committee comes in to at least polish this, the better for our people. There is a big problem. Remember, members, we had previously the CDF funded projects. When as the water responsibility was moved from the members of parliament, it also came to the county. I want to use my ward as a case in point, where we had so many projects that were running under the CDF. These projects were abandoned. The water companies have not been able to take them up. They are not operational. When they break down, they run to the MCA for assistance. We are not able to assist them, and most of them have been run down. So I think as a committee, the chair and the committee members, you need to take up this responsibility so that we have a smooth way of ensuring that our people get water, besides whether they come from, whether from the whichever water company, whichever department, our people just need water. And that is very important. For example, Madam Speaker, I have heard Mheshimiwa Maeke mentioned that water cannot be free. But remember again, water is life. And when you look at the poverty level of our people, then again, if it now becomes an item of sale, it is also challenging. We need to come up with a policy where at least this water can be made free to our people, free and accessible, so that our people do not have to look for food, at the same time look for water. So, Madam Speaker, I'm supporting this report with the rider that this recommendation be brought to the House. We see the level of recommendations as it has been alluded by the Committee on Water. Madam Speaker, again, I think we also need to challenge the Department of Water and I think this goes to the Minister of Water that is sitting there today, Minister and the department, that we cannot be able to show blame. Blame must settle somewhere. And if the mother department is the water department, then the blame will have to go there. One of the things that, Madam Speaker, is very clear is that it seems our water companies have no operational capacity. They have done, I don't know whether majority, I think you are in this department, you are aware. I don't know whether it's in capacity in terms of funding that they do not have, whether it is staff they do not have, but there seems to already exist logistical inadequacies. I don't know what I'll call them, but there's a problem. Because like in Mua, I'll tell you, I have that project that is in Miwongoni, I have so many dams that are there. And actually they are left by themselves. Nobody takes responsibility. I have a Kitanga water project. Nobody takes of that project. It's a major project that was connected to almost about 3,000 families. The project has died. I have another one in Chan. It has gone under. So then when you talk about these companies being in existence and they are not operating, then we need as a water committee to wake up and challenge and see how we are going to ensure that these companies discharge their mandate. Whether it is funds that they do not have, funds should be sought so that they are financed, so that they operate. See, Madam Speaker, like when we dig a bore and the bore is done, it is left to, it is left to well-wishers to operate it. Sometimes the committees that are there are just committees on their own. You only get to know of their challenges or how they operate when they break down. So I think our water companies are lacking something. There's something that needs to be done urgently so that our water is managed in a civilized way, so that there's synergy in the way that this thing is being managed. So, Madam Speaker, I am challenging this because we seem to have so many water, Masinga water, Mwala water, Machakos water, they're all over. Yata water project companies, but when we look at what they are doing, then I only hear when majority is here giving us what are these you give reports. There are financial reports. He gives a lot of them, but then I never get to know what have they done within the year. How many families have they been able to reach? And the other thing, majority and the team that is in government, that we need to wake up easily. And we have 8 sub-counties that are run, the water projects that are under the CDF have not been taken up by the county companies. These companies will need to take up those projects because members of parliament have done so many projects and they're actually being left to the public again. So this is very important that the companies take up. While we also talk about the assets here, they also take up the assets of the previous CDA projects that were done by the members of parliament so that they also own that. If we synergize all that, I think we have already enough water sources, but the problem is that most of them are not being operated in the right way. Madam Speaker, thank you and members for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Kitetu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name remains Frederick Kitetu, and Frederick Kitetu is also a member to this committee. My contribution is on transfer of ownership of water asset and attachment to county government will be a better way of service delivery since county government are geographically closer to the community, to the local community, for a better understanding of water needs and the challenges, and faster decision making on water infrastructure and accountability. I stand to support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Members, as we debate this matter, a few issues have come up, and I would like to just say that there is a lot that is bedeviling this particular sector of water. Even though we are discussing issues of transfer of assets from the national government to the county government, but as a result of that, we have come up with a few issues that have come out in the discussions. Some of them are purely operational problems. Water management is poorly done. no clear ownership structures. We have agencies, we have companies, we have the National Water Company, that is Tana Athi, and there are so many issues coming out of this report. And boreholes have been abandoned, they are not taken care of. Purely there is a lot of water mismanagement insofar as this report is concerned. My question is, because we need to get to the bottom of this matter, the issue is, which is the best way to go about? Is it that we invite the water companies or the agencies to appear before us? Is it procedural? Or do we invite the CC Water? I'm drunk with finance. It's finance I mentioned first. Yeah, but I'm saying, do we call the CC Water to come and appear before us to give us, how do we get this information? Which is the best way to go about it? Members. Do we invite the agencies to appear, we go on a retreat as suggested by one honorable member, or do we call is it procedural? Honorable majority, sorry.
Madam Speaker, we're not talking, as you rightly put it,
yes.
We're not talking about the provision of the water service per se. The report doesn't talk about that.
Yeah.
We talk about transfer of assets.
Correct.
And of course, where you are talking about assets, you must always remember liabilities.
Yes.
Because you cannot choose to pick on the asset side and ignore liabilities.
Yeah,
so I think, in my opinion, is first of all, let us deal with the monster of the report, which is the asset. And Mheshimiwa Ngonga says, for example, CDF have done a lot of boreholes.
Yeah.
They have capped them. And then in the process, they are told, you're no longer going to do water.
Yeah.
So do we just leave that borehole there?
Sure.
Or do we first of all have like terms of references? At what point does that borehole becomes the property? If it's in Mua, at what point does it become the property of Machakos Water and Sewerage Company? So that even though this money was not counting funds, it is still our taxes.
Correct.
We don't lose it. And for example, how do we address the question of land?
Yeah.
That was
where the
sewer treatment plant used to sit,
Correct.
and now it is occupied by mechanics.
Yes.
So unless we sort out, in my opinion, the issue of assets and liabilities, and we normally see the audit reports of water companies, they have more liabilities than assets. Then what does that tell you? If I have more liabilities than my own assets, I probably could not even feed my own kids.
Yes.
That is why they have perennial, 6 months without salaries. Last week, we didn't have water in Machakos. Why? The pump had been destroyed. There was a lot of big. So let us first of all, in my opinion, address the elephant in the house about, for example, what does Machakos Water Company own?
Okay.
And what are the liabilities? And what are the interventions from all agencies, including Machakos County government, national government, and donors? What are the interventions that can pull out the water company from all this? Mheshimiwa Ngonga says the bottom line is for somebody to drink the water or to irrigate their farm. Without addressing, it is difficult for me to be told by my own kids to take them for a holiday if I'm not able to pay for their school fees. Just like if there's no money for paying school fees, money to go to Mombasa, where is it coming from? So let us first of all deal with the elephant in the house, and again go back to the 60 days that the committee recommended that a report be brought here to see whether those recommendations of transfer of assets and liabilities have been dealt with, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. And so to that effect, I would think that before then, the department should be able to meet with the CCM and also the CEOs of the water companies gradually until the 60 days arrives. Then they bring the report, or even earlier, whichever, when they are ready. I think so, Madam Speaker.
So we leave to the committee. Honorable Kitaka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would want to I'm Francis Kitaka, representing Dalane Ward. I want to put in summary what our honorable members are saying. There is also the aspect of responsibility. Every department needs to be responsible. It is also the responsibility of us as an assembly to follow up on the reports that are brought in this house. We have reports that have been indicating negative or losses for every water company. We need now, even if it requires a retreat, sit down and evaluate a company after the other and interrogate, where are we going wrong? Because sometimes you might find, Honorable Speaker, that these are liabilities that are just man-made. Because I've never seen a report here which has made any profit. Does it mean that our companies cannot even make a shilling? So it is high time, honorable members, that now, since we have a report, and we have reports that have been tabled here, let us take also the requisite directions that we need to do, so that when we are questioning the viability of them even staying afloat, then we will be very much informed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, but it was at that point I was asking whether which is the best way to go about it. Is it about...
Madam Speaker,
okay.
at the risk of a member rising on point of order to say I've spoken so many times, I think once a report is brought before this House and the recommendation therein are adopted by this House, it means, therefore, that the next process is automatically to the implementation committee, the committee on implementation, to follow up within the deadline of the 60 days, if that is what is going to be adopted, and therefore the implementation committee should bring a report here. I might be wrong, but I think once we adopt the recommendations, automatically, you don't even need to commit. Automatically, it goes to the committee on implementation for them to bring the report within 60 days. And I hope that is the route we would take, so that we don't look like we've missed the point and we want our own point. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
So at that point, we will discuss the report.
Yes, that is what I think, Madam Speaker.
Then at what time do we engage the companies direct? Because that is the view of most members, that we need to engage them direct.
Madam Speaker, in my opinion, again, the implementation committee is up to the implementation committee to invite whomsoever they wish, so that they can come and bring their views, and then they bring their report after 60 days, and then this House is going to make a recommendation again, whether to engage as a committee of whole or agree with the recommendation of the implementation committee.
Agreed. In order. Members, at this point, I think we leave it to the committee to bring. Honorable Ruth, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Ngonga, for helping the Speaker to see me. First of all, Madam Speaker, I stand guided on whether this report, as it has been read, can be put together with the other information that we have on the same, or it has to stand independently. Why I'm saying this is because as a member of the Public Accounts Committee, we have dealt with these water companies. So I would say if this information can be put together, because we are also tired of dealing with the same issues after report after report, I would suggest, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to suggest, I would suggest that as we do what the Honorable Majority has said, we also come with a pathway where we can have a roundtable meeting with all stakeholders, including those water companies, because it is factual that they are loss-making companies. I don't know why they are still existing as of now, but if we sit with them, because when we sit with them as a committee, they always have these excuses and reasons. Maybe they say that people are not paying, the county government being number one, the county assembly also, they say we are not paying. So if we sit all stakeholders, they will not have what we call blame shifting. We will all be on that table to discuss, and nobody will hide under they are not on that table. will come up with solutions once and for all, because this is a very important sector. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ruth. I want to say this. Let's allow the committee concerned take course. Let them deal with the report to its logical conclusion. And at some point, we may have some general oversight committee taking place. But that is not to say that we cannot engage the agencies on their own through outside this process when it is taking place. So it is open that we can engage them and get whatever we would want to hear from them, but at the same time let the committee concerned just take control of this process that we are discussing right now to its logical conclusion. That is what I can guide. Thank you. May I call the mover of the motion to respond?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank honorable members for debating well to the motion, and I wish everything we have said will be done as expected. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Penina. I now put the question that pursuant to Standing Order 189, this House adopts the report of the Devolution and Intergovernmental Committee on inquiry on the status of the transfer of ownership of the water company assets to the county government of Machakos, laid on the table of the Assembly on 20th November 2024. As many of the opinions say ayes, as many of the contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it. The House adjourns to Tuesday, 8th July 2025 at 2:30 p.m. See you then, members.